Good day. Today we will going to study about the Filipino core values as part of our subject CFLM 1. And hopefully you are now ready to learn about our topic for today. And our learning objectives is to recognize and relate Filipino values, its structures, models, philosophical foundations, and elements. As we continue, we know that the basic concept of values is that core values are a person's or organization's fundamental beliefs. These guiding principles dictate conduct and can assist individuals to know the distinction between right and wrong. It also assists organization by establishing an unwavering guide to determine if they are on the correct track and fulfill their objectives. Values are essential because they assist us to grow. They assist us to build the future that we want to experience. Hundreds of choices are made every day. That choice or the choices we make reflect our values and beliefs and are always aimed at a particular purpose. That aim is our person or collective needs to be satisfied. When we make choices using our values, we create a conscious decision to concentrate on what matters to us. If we will going to ask ourselves and assess ourselves, ano ba yung iyong mga ginagawa? Ano ba yung iyong mga action? And what motivates you? Or what ought you to do such action? And we hope that what you did is always in congruence with your belief. And of course, as Filipinos, we hope that we can root that out from our core values as Filipinos. When we are talking about core value system, we must understand this. Race, strains, and cultural components such as AITA have derived Filipino values. Indonesians, Malayan, Hindu, and Chinese who created our moral scruples core. Cultural individuality combines with Spain derived cultural components. As we can see, all of what I have mentioned here, the Indonesians, Malayan, Hindu, Chinese, the Spaniards, even the Americans, and so on and so forth. These are races, or these are the people whom we have in contact with for the early part or for the prehistoric period, and even during the time of the Spaniards. And all of them influence us in one way or another and might lead us into a value system that we call now as Filipino value system. According to Landa Jucano, there are no negative Filipino values, only the wrong use of values. Values slowly alter. Pwede nating baguhin yan o kaya naman in the process, we can make our values into something that is desirable in our context or at that time of our lives. But it depends on how powerful families are to preserve, promote, and pass on our cultural values from one generation to the next. Alam natin na sa ating pong buhay na when we at that certain time of your life, you are being influenced of the value system around you. And we as Filipinos, we are part of a certain community and we are being influenced by that community. But to pass that particular value system to the next generation, it's very important to understand the 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 process in transmitting that core values. And we want that the future or the generations of today will really embrace the value system that we have. If there's something that sabihin na natin na hindi ka nais-nais, there's still a chance for us to do something so that we can change those negative things or negative or the perceived negative in our value system. But sabi nga ng binabanggit dito na it depends on how powerful families or people in preserving, in promoting, and passing our value system to the next generation. Kaya kung tayo ngayon, yung henerasyon, it's up to us on how we can transmit a value system that is more desirable or desirable in our context as Filipinos. As we can observe, pagkalinga, pag-aaruga, at pakialam shapes our real Filipino culture, showing that we are conscious of others. Kaya kung titignan na natin bilang mga Pilipino, pinapahalagan natin yung kapwa, which is one of the core values of our culture as Filipinos. The Filipino value system relates to the set of values or the value system that has historically been held by a majority of Filipinos in their life. This system involves the distinctive combination of coherent ideologies, moral codes, ethical procedure, or cultural etiquette, and private values promoted by the Philippine society. Filipino values are focused on preserving the social harmony, mainly driven by groups' willingness to be accepted. The primary sanction against diverging from these values are, kasama na dyan yung hiya or the self-esteem or yung amor proprio. Social approval or group recognition and group membership are significant issues when we are talking about the Filipino values. Kasi kinikilala natin na tayo ay hindi hiwalay doon sa ibang tao. We are part of the community. And as part of the community, there must be caring. There must be an act of giving care or recognizing the presence of other people in our community. Hindi tayo individualistic. We are people who give importance on the harmony or the society that we have. Caring for what others believe, say, or do is powerful influence on Filipinos' social behavior. According to Leonardo Mercado, the Filipino philosophy is basically non-dualistic. Ito yung binabanggit natin kanina. That's why very important yung kapwa. That we are part of a society, of a community. Hindi pwedeng paghiwalayin sapagkat yung ating sarili ay parte ng komunidad na ating kinabibilangan. And Filipino loob or desire harmony which includes interpersonal relationship, nature, and religion. The Filipino wants to harmonize the object and the subject while keeping both as distinct at the same time. So, pupasok din dyan yung hindi natin napaghihiwalay nga, yung dichotomize, no? We cannot dichotomize doon sa reality that yourself is detached with the community or with the people around us. Laging magkadugtong yan. Kaya parte ng ating buhay bilang mga Pilipino ay yung ating pong pakikisama at pakikipagkapwa. Ito ay iba doon sa mga Western thinking that sometimes individualism is so big when it comes to their value system. But for us as Filipinos, we really give importance on our or of being part of a whole. And we cannot detach ourselves from that. We are part of the whole. Meron pong dalawang uri o models of Filipino values. Yung una ay exogenous model. Yung bagay na yan na binabanggit dyan, ito yung foreign model. And sometimes we are, of course, this is a legal and formal model. And it's defined as the international model. Filipinos from Western cultures, particularly from Spaniards and the Americans, inherited the foreign model. And even at this time, we use them as a model when it comes to our value system. Pero meron din naman yung traditional model, which we call indigenous model. Described as a traditional and non-formal model or guide, the indigenous model is deeply integrated in the Filipinos' subconscious. So itong dalawang model na ito ng Filipino values are both used by our sociologists at maging yung mga nag-aaral ng ating pong value system, ng ating kultura bilang mga Pilipino. At itong mga bagay na ito ay tunay na nagbibigay kung paano natin dapat o paano natin naintindihan yung kulturang Pilipino. The structure and elements of Filipino values. Ito yung binabanggit ko kanina. Kapwa is central in Filipino value system. It is the real core values, surfacing in the value of hiya, pakikisama, utang na loob, o yung depth of gratitude, no? The surface values spin off the core value through pakiramdams, pivotal aspect, or yung mutual internal perception, which includes yung feeling for someone else. It's not just to focus on the individual self, but yung ating pong pagtingin ay kasama yung pangkalahatan pagdating doon sa idea natin ng Filipino value system. The values of Filipinos specifically uphold the following elements. Family o family unit solidarity. Yung tinatawag natin security of the Philippine economy. Napakahalaga yung kabuuan ng bansa, hindi lamang yung ating sarili. Orientation towards a small group. The personalism, the concept of loob or kalooban, existence and maintenance of smooth interpersonal relationships, and the sense of the self. Though at this last part ay binibigyan din yung ating sarili. But we know that we cannot separate as have yung sinasabi ni Leonardo na hindi pwedeng paghiwalayin yung ating sarili doon sa kalipunan, doon sa community. Laging magkasama yung dalawang iyan. There are 5 core Filipino values which I think most of us can really understand these 5 things. Una, yung mapagpasalamat. Laging naririyan, kasama yan talaga sa bawat isa sa atin, na if you receive something from a person, we are really ready to give thanks, being grateful of what others have done in our lives. Kaya nga, pumapasok yung depth of gratitude, no? Yung utang na loob. Dahil doon sa iyong pagpapasalamat for the favor or anything that other people have done on you. Then pangalawa, yung resilience o yung pagiging matatag. Tayong mga Pilipino ay dumadaan sa iba't ibang klase ng mga bagay na maaaring struggles in life, adversities in life. But we are resilient, just like a bamboo na, di ba, yun doon natin kinukumpara yung ating katatagan na we are pliant, we are really strong, not just simply courageous, but someone who is strong and can stand those struggles that we have in life. Yung pangatlo ay yung kasigasigan. Masigasig, kumikilos. We are not passive, or we are not a passive kind of race, but we are someone who make things happens. Kumikilos tayo. Nandyan din yung mapagmalasakit, yung compassionate heart, na kitang-kita yan sa mga Pilipino. Kahit siguro yung bawat isa sa atin, napakadali nating maawa sa isang kababayan natin o kahit sino pa man. That part of ourselves, that heart, is really a manifestation of being caring, someone who is compassionate, and we that I think is something that that we must yung payabungin, no, dapat nating practice every day, and that should be retained in our cultural values as Filipinos. And lastly ay yung respeto, yung pagiging magalang. Merong mga ilang pamamaraan ng paggalang, of course, yung respect to the elderlies, nagmamano tayo, or even respeto na hinahayaan natin ang nakakatanda ang nagsasalita, o kaya naman we even bow down to them as a show of respect. Lalo na tayo bilang mga Asyano ay binibigyang diin ang respeto sa ating kapwa. Bilang mga bahagi ng tinitingnan natin as future Filipinos, as part of the Criminology class, nais ninyo na maglingkod sa ating bayan. At yung ating mga natukoy ay bahagi ng kulturang Pilipino. Those are core values, and coming from those core values, our actions will be guided by all those things that we have discussed. Whether what you will do, or anuman yung aksyon na gagawin mo, ay dapat nakapaloob doon sa ating kulturang Pilipino. Of course, we don't want to act which is so detached with what we believe or what we do o yung mga principles na ating pong pinanananganan. Nais natin na yung ating mga gawa is incongruence doon sa ating pong pinaniniwalaan at pinangahawakan bilang part ng ating core value system as Filipinos. When we are talking about being a part of the Philippine National Police, tignan natin yung bahagi ng tinatawag natin na core values ng Philippine National Police sa pagkakataong ito. At ito ay nakaugat doon sa kultura natin bilang mga Pilipino at yung core values natin bilang mga Pilipino. Kung titignan natin, merong 2, 4, 6, 7 na core values, no? At kung babasahin natin pababa, service ang kalalabasan. At yung S stands for servanthood. Then, sumunod ay yung excellence. Pangatlo, yung responsibility with accountability. Valuing people and respect for human rights. Panglima ay integrity. Pang-anim ay courage. And lastly, empowerment. With all of those core values, it's so important and we are expecting that the Philippine National Police are ready to serve the country, to serve the people, to protect and to install order in our communities. We hope that all of us, as we do our actions in our everyday life, we can root or we can go back to our value system as Filipinos so that we cannot be wrong in our actions since it is founded in our way of living. Ito yung ating lektura, ito ang ating pag-uusap ngayong araw na ito, and I hope you learn a lot on the Filipino core values. Magandang araw, and may God continue to bless you. Thank you.